Hello YouTubers, today I'm going to share with you how I doubled my income in less than a year, tell you what I did through truck driving, how I got to where I am today as an owner-operator. I've been running as an owner-op for the last year, so I'm just going to take you through how I did everything and also how you can do better. Learning from my steps, I've seen how someone else could have saved themselves some money and time doing things a little differently. So starting off, August of 2017 I was studying to get the CDL permit. Got that. September 2017 I quit my job and started truck driving school. At the time I had the cash on hand to go ahead and pay for truck driving school out of pocket. In Colorado it was about $5,000 and about a 3-week long course. From there I signed on to Schneider National. I spent the whole 3 weeks researching all different companies, what they had to offer. Ended up choosing Schneider because they had the shortest training period of time that you have to go out over the road with a driver. At Schneider it's only 1 week. Most other companies it's weeks or months, and I wasn't trying to do all that. Schneider National took us on. I was driving team at the time, and I was making about $700 to $800 a week after taxes, and that was cool. Did that, driving over the road all over, covered almost every state in that 7 months, and saved up quite a bit of money during that time. I think I had the goal to save $250 a paycheck, so I was saving about $1,000 a month, and I was really sticking to that. And then any bonuses that I got, because Schneider pays out bonuses like compliance bonus and gives you a raise after your 3 months and then 6 months, and then the sign-on bonus, and all of that extra money I just put into the savings account as well. After 7 months team driving, that wasn't working out anymore. I decided to look into getting my own truck. So let's see, I started driving October 2017, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. By July, the 9th month, I was in the process of making the transition into buying my own truck. Initially was looking at financing a truck. That wasn't going to work because I didn't have 2 years experience, or the hefty down payment that they wanted. I was close, but wasn't willing to put all of my eggs in one basket to cover that down payment and not have, emergency money to fall back on as a new owner-operator. So I decided not to finance. I decided to do the lease purchase with Schneider. Zero money down, got a brand new truck. Actually, I had the choice between a brand new 2019 P4 and a 2019 but the P3 model, slightly used, 40,000 miles on the truck. So I went with that one, as the P3 is what I was used to driving. I didn't want to go through having to learn whatever differences there were in the P4. So I got the P3 slightly used, and going from making $700 to $800 a week as a company driver, after taxes, I started making, on a bad week, $800 plus, the cost of the truck payment. Even though I'm not really seeing that money of the truck payment, that's money I made, right? Because otherwise that money would be coming out of the money that I do see. So bringing home $800 a week and still making a truck payment every week of $1,200, I'm now making $2,000 every week. So in 9 months I went from starting out brand new with a CDL, no experience, to an owner-operator making $2,000 a week on a bad week. And since then, it's just been, you know, some weeks are really good, some weeks aren't really good, but for the most part, I'm always making over $2,000. Sometimes it's closer to $3,000. Let's see, the best check that I've had running solo with the truck payment would have been about a $2,400 check with the truck, so that's $3,600. Best week I've had was $3,600 bucks. $3,600 total, then minus the $1,200 truck payment, so brought home $2,400 bucks. This is all before taxes, keep that in mind. But still, more than doubled my income what I was making before as a company driver. And it's been great. It's been the best thing I could have ever done. I was told a lot that only having less than a year experience as a driver, I would fail at being an owner-operator. There's no way. I can't possibly know enough about it. I don't really know what that was about, why I was getting that feedback from so many drivers, if they were speaking more on the financials of it and people not really understanding the financial cost that comes with being an owner-operator, or if they meant, you know, like actual driving stuff and hooking up to trailers. And sorry to say, guys, but that's not the hardest thing in the world. So been doing it for almost 2 years now. August of 2018 I bought my truck. August 2019 I actually just started team driving with my boyfriend, and so we're owner-operators together now, team driving. But like I said, 2 years, haven't really had any issues. It's not that hard, especially with the abundance of information that's available these days. YouTube is a great help. Whatever you don't know about trucking, whatever you don't know about how to get yourself out of a sticky situation, just YouTube it. It'll save your butt almost every time. Or ask other drivers. Really, people are always here to help. That's something that I found really has saved me a couple times. But that's what I did. That's how I went from making $700 to $800 a week to $2,000 plus in less than a year. I understand that some people wouldn't want to do that because in less than a year you may not feel comfortable enough. You may not feel like you want the responsibility and the burden that comes with having your own truck and having to stay on top of maintenance and all the other things. The one thing I'm going to say to that is, if you make the transition from a company driver to, let's say, an owner-operator with a large company that you can lease onto, they take care of all of that stuff. They remind you, they send you a message whenever you need to, well, like with Schneider, they send you a message every 90 days to go get a DOT inspection, and they pay for it. Every 90 days. This truck is inspected, and we know that it's up to par. I get my oil changed every 30,000 miles. That's no big deal. They even make you, it's mandatory that you put $200 to $300 a week into a maintenance reserve account. An oil change only costs about anywhere from $200 to $400 typically. So, you know, that's 1 week that you just paid for an oil change. You need an oil change once every 3, 4, 5 months, depending on however you want, but it's really not that hard, guys. Big carriers such as Schneider National, they will cover everything as far as you getting your plates, your permits, your tags, IFTA, the International Fuel Tax Agreement, the heavy vehicle use tax, everything, guys, everything. They do it all for you. That's part of the reason why they take the percentage that they take, right? You're not going to make as much money as you would having your own authority, but it's a good starting point, and it's a good finishing point too if this isn't something you want to do for the long term. If you're more concerned, like myself, I'm more concerned with having the time to dedicate to other things, investing and learning about other ventures of ways to make money. I'm more concerned with having the extra time and the convenience that comes with working for a big carrier, where they take care of all the little stuff, all the administrative work, and all I do, I pull up an app on my phone. It shows me all of the loads that are available, and again, working for a big carrier, that's a plus. You're never not gonna have a load, pretty much. I've never not had a load. You might have to deadhead 200-300 miles at most, but you're still gonna make money on that. So that's a beautiful thing of working for a big carrier as well. But I just pull up the app on my phone, see what's available. Oh yeah, I want that. Okay, assigned to me. Ready to go get it. There's no having to bid for it. There's no having to call and talk to brokers. There's none of that stuff. None of that. You're not doing any paperwork in your truck. You don't need a printer. You don't need a scanner. It's so easy, guys. It's so easy. And it's easy in other ways too. If you have questions about it, reach out. I'd be happy to tell you all the details of what the ins and outs are, at least here at Schneider. But continuing on, I want to just go to the beginning and make some suggestions for you guys. If you're new, getting a CDL, if you're a company driver and kind of trying to figure out if you might want to get into being an owner-operator, just want to share a couple things that I think I could have done better. Number one, if you're just starting out, if you have cash on hand and you're like, oh, do I want to pay to go to truck driving school, or do I want to let a company pay for it and I have to promise to drive for them for a year? Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I highly suggest keep your money, let the company pay for you to go to truck driving school and get your CDL. The big carriers will do it. Some smaller fleets will do it too, but especially the big carriers, Schneider, Warner, Swift, depending on how many drivers they need, what the demand is at the time, they offer things like that, where they'll pay for you to go to truck driving school, the whole thing. And then you just promise to drive for them for 1 year. If you don't, you owe them money. Personally, I think that is the easiest way to go, because you want to drive for a company for about a year anyway. Obviously I didn't do it for a whole year, but close enough as far as I see it. And I spent $5,000 of my own money when I could have had them pay for it, kept that $5,000 in my pocket, and used it for other things later on. Hindsight's 20/20. I encourage everybody to go that route to get your CDL. Now, once you have your CDL, do your research. Don't just talk to drivers. Talk to drivers though, because you want to see how happy they are with the company, and you want to hear what the complaints are. If the complaints are the same old thing that you're going to hear at every company, oh, I had to sit on hold for a long time and it pisses me off. Okay, if the complaint is, yeah, they don't pay me enough. Well, what do they pay you? What does your paycheck look like? You know, ask those questions. Some people, no amount of money will ever be enough. And then to some people, it'll be like, oh yeah, they pay great, I'm making so much money. Like, you know, and they're all hyping it up. But what is that so much money? How much is that? I need numbers here, right? I've always been someone, I ask a lot of questions and I want to see. Prove to me. If you say you're making $1,000 a week after taxes as a company driver, let me see it, you know. Just really dive into everything, what the company offers. Do they offer tuition reimbursement? If you did pay for truck driving school yourself, or you plan on doing so, a lot of these carriers will offer tuition reimbursement. So if you paid $5,000 to go to CDL school, they'll pay that back to you in payments every paycheck or every month. That's really cool. Schneider does that as well. Do they offer benefits if you're prior military? Do they offer extra pay for teams? Do they offer extra pay for hazmat? Is that something you want to do, hazmat? Is it worth it to do hazmat? Is it worth it to go through all of the trouble of getting your hazmat and only make, you know, an extra $50 or $100 or whatever it might be? Those are things to look at. And then so you have the CDL, you're working at a company. At about the 9 to 10 month mark, you know, I think it's a good time to start filling out like, okay, what do I want to do here? Because after a year, most companies that offer like lease programs and stuff, they'll let you buy a truck from them and be an owner-operator leasing a truck. So at about 9-10 months of driving for the company, start asking yourself like what you really want to do and what your options are looking like. Start researching the company that you're at, because you might get some benefits to staying with them as opposed to going somewhere else. And then look at the other companies, see what they offer, and see what will be the best. See what you're comfortable with paying in a lease payment. Here at Schneider, our truck payments are usually anywhere from $800 if you're getting like a brand new or slightly used truck. Anywhere from $800 to like, I don't know, maybe $1,000 at most. I haven't heard anyone with $1,000 truck payment yet. Just the truck itself, not including the maintenance reserves and the insurance and stuff. Some other companies, the truck payment itself is like $1,400, $1,600. Just look into that and see also what their load payout is looking like, what the revenue is going to be. Talk to drivers who are already doing it. Get on Facebook and just type in at the search bar, you know, JB Hunt owner operator, or on YouTube, Swift owner operator, Schneider owner operator. Find out what these people are saying and then reach out to them and just ask questions. 9 times out of 10, if they're making posts about it, it's because they want to help, or you know, they want to help you get into the company. You might get a referral bonus. A lot of times owner operators are willing to split a referral bonus with you if that's what you're trying to do. Just ask, you know, it doesn't hurt to ask. And people will show you. You'll be surprised. People will show you their pay statements. They'll show you their tax returns. They'll show you how much they spend in fuel. Because, I mean, we're all here trying to do the same job, right? And help each other out. And then, you know, let's say you narrow it down to a company and you want to buy the truck from them. My biggest suggestion would be make sure that before you make the jump to becoming an owner-operator, you don't have to have 3 to 5 years experience. You don't have to have $10,000 to $20,000, depending on your spending habits and your monthly bills. But if it's not too excessive, I think about $5,000 is a good number. $5,000 in reserves or cash that's available to you. You know, even if you have to use a credit card, let's say with a very low interest rate, to make that transition, and you know that you can pay that back quickly as soon as you get into the truck. You know, guys, sometimes you just got to make a leap. And if you have $5,000 in reserves saved up, and you make the change over to owner op, you might see that deplete a little bit. You might see it go down to $4,000, $3,000, $2,000, $1,000. But then, something a lot of people don't know, big companies such as Schneider, I'm not sure about the other companies, but after orientation, after you do the owner operator class, which is 4 days, and they pay you for that, not a whole lot, but they pay you, and then you don't even have a truck payment for the first 2 to 3 weeks that you're on the road. So remember when I was telling you that, like, I'll make, like, on a bad week, $800 take home after paying for my truck? So it's actually $2,000? On a bad week, your first 2 to 3 weeks of becoming an owner-operator, if you did it at Schneider, that's $2,000 in your pocket, $3,000, $4,000 if you hustle and really get it. There goes all that savings that you just had to run down to go through this transition. There's that money right back in a matter of a week or two. So just understanding these things and the process and the steps. If you can lay it out in like a tasks list, or you know, just really understand the steps, it'll really help, because you'll see the whole picture. You'll see, like, it's not just, oh gosh, I'm gonna have $5,000 and making this transition, I'm not gonna have any income for 3 weeks, I'm gonna go broke. No, not necessarily. You know, what can you do, and then how can you get that back? And just stay committed to doing that. It's possible, guys. It's really possible, and I'm proof of it. Also, don't just become an owner-operator and think like, oh, I'm good now, I'm making all this money, I'm gonna go vacation and go do this and take all this time off because I don't have anybody telling me that I have to drive for a week to get 1 day off, or 2 weeks to get 2 days off. It's exciting, I know, I did it too, but looking back, my first 3 months as an owner-operator, I spent over 10 grand in vacationing and taking time off and just doing whatever I wanted to, because it just felt so good, right? To become your own boss, to have your own trucking business, nobody telling you what to do and when to do it, picking your loads, going where you want to go. Like, it's exciting and it feels good. And if you have extra money saved up, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be making this money back anyway, so let me go enjoy myself. Enjoy yourself, but, you know, try to take it easier, try to space it out. And that's something I'm seeing now. I haven't been taking vacations and time off, really. I haven't even been back to Colorado since March. I've taken little vacations here and there in other states, but no more international trips for a little while. Gotta save up some money. But also want to say, if you have access to more money, if you have access to $20, $30, $40, $50,000, and you don't want to lease a truck, after 1 year being a company driver, you can go to, let's say, Lone Mountain and try to buy a truck, finance a truck, where you just have a monthly payment, which is a great option, especially if you have that kind of money in reserves, because a monthly payment means more money in your pocket every month, right? You're kind of putting yourself in a leveraged position where you're not going to get the truck paid off as quickly as doing a lease. A lease is just basically you're paying that truck like crazy until you get it paid off, which is like a 3 to 4 year period. Going and financing it, you're like lollygagging paying it off, unless you make your own extra payments, which is possible, but you're taking your time paying it off, and it's going to take you 5, 6, 7 years to pay it off. Not a bad thing. Again, just depends on your situation, what you're trying to do, where you need that money to be. Do you need to pay it off truck sooner than later? Are you trying to get out of truck driving in 2 to 3 to 4 years? Or are you cool with laying back and having more money every month and being a trucker for the next 6, 7, 8 years? Just depends on your situation, what you're trying to do. But if that's an option to you, I think that's a good option to go to somewhere like Lone Mountain or directly to Freightliner. They're gonna give you a hard time if you don't have 2 years experience, but they'll be like, okay, do you have about $20,000 to $30,000 that you can put down? If you do, cool. They want to see that plus another, I don't remember what the percentage is, but they probably want to see about another $5,000 to $10,000 on top of whatever they want you to put down. So just take that into consideration, and then still try to make sure that you have either in liquid cash or in funds that are available to you through a credit card or a personal loan or something, make sure that you have about $5,000 to $10,000 to fall back on, just in case. I'm only speaking on new trucks, so from what I've seen, this whole thing is a little different when you buy a used truck, especially a substantially used truck, something that has 400, 500, 600,000 miles. That's a different ballgame. I'm not here to talk about that because I don't know much about it, but this is not about that, because that you might want to have more than $10,000 in reserve. You might want to, you obviously won't need as much of a down payment. It's completely different if you're trying to buy a heavily used truck. So, but this is my information of how I went from, you know, how I doubled my income in less than a year through truck driving. And it's the best thing I could have done for myself, the very best. Also, I'm able to, my situation is a little unique, although I know a lot of people in my situation. I don't have any kids, don't have really much financial responsibilities outside of, you know, a phone bill and some debts that I'm paying off, but my monthly bills are very, very low. I don't have rent, I don't have a mortgage, don't have utilities, don't have a car note, insurance, all that stuff. I just live in the truck. Have been living basically out of the truck for the last going on 2 years. October will make 2 years. And so when you really dedicate yourself to this lifestyle, it can bring you a lot in return. You can still do it, and you can still get ahead, and you can still make good money with all of those financial obligations as well. With a family, with a wife, with kids, with a lot of bills. You can do it, you just gotta budget your money differently. I'm here to help anybody who has questions, especially my lady drivers. If you're just looking into getting your CDL, or you're not sure if you should, or you're hesitant, you're scared, too many unanswered questions, whether you're not a driver yet or you're new, you're a company driver, you want some tips on becoming an owner-operator and what it's like, I'm here, happy to answer any and all questions for you guys. Just reach out and we can connect. I'll send you my phone number, we can talk and meet up if we're in the same place at the same time. And yeah, looking forward to sharing more information with you guys, and hope to encourage you to stick with it.